Well, here we go again. And for those of you that wonder why I'm always so close to the car when I do my videos, if you look around, this is all the room I got. The car is basically centered up so that I have enough room to open the doors on each side, and that's it. But anyway, what I've been up to is working on the front end. I've decided I'm starting at the front, working my way towards the back. And you'll notice the headlight pots are in there on both sides. And this will probably be hard to see. Probably not see. Yeah, it looks black. Anyway, weights are in both front corners. I've strung all the wiring in, which goes back in behind the fender. So what I've got left here is my pigtails for the headlights, pigtails for the front marker lights, my horn wiring. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, get the horns into it. And I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but when this car came to me, the body itself came on my flatbed. The remainder of the car came in 2 truckloads and 2 enclosed trailer loads. So I really didn't take a lot of this car apart. So I've had to rely on the internet quite a bit to find pictures. And the horns on a 67 base are different than a 67 RS, which is different than a 68, and on and on and on the story goes. Took me quite a while to find out where those horns go. So anyway, printed a picture. I'll get those on, and we're going to move on to getting the marker lights ready to go. Just a little tip here, and I wouldn't have mentioned it other than that different times I've had people come walking in when I'm doing this. But the grill was originally mounted in this thing using pop rivets, so obviously I don't want to do that. So I'm using 832 bolts. And I'm sure everybody's probably got a pair of these pliers somewhere kicking around. They're not much good as crimping pliers, but what they are good for is cutting off small bolts. And if you notice these holes in here, they're all labeled for what size they are. So all you do, thread your bolt in through the hole, figure out what length you want, give it a squeeze, snap off the end, and when you back it out, it cleans up your threads. Anyway, just thought I'd mention that. It's the next day, or maybe the day after that, or the day after that. Not really sure. But the Camaro has its face back. And I'll take you inside and close the door, keep the heat in, and we'll be back in a minute. Cowl panel, it's all been fitted, tested, ready to go. And I know you won't be able to see it on cam, but it has some really slight sanding swirl scratches in it. So before I put that on, I want to finish that up. And the only other panel that I haven't completed yet on the polishing side of things is the trunk lid. So I basically have been forced to finish up the polishing, so that's on today's agenda. Nothing exciting there, so I will bring you back later. As you can see, cowl panel never made it on. Ran into a couple other little issues and got a little sidetracked, but it will happen. And the issue I ran into was with the windshield wiper motor. And I thought before I put that cowl on, it would be a good idea to make sure the windshield wipers work, which they didn't. So anyway, after a little bit of screwing around, it ended up that it was actually the switch in the dash. But these GMs are a little bit weird. They run a constant positive to the motor, and then they switch the motor between high and low with the negative completed through the switch. So anyway, it took a little bit, but got that figured out. And I thought, well, since I'm playing with wiring, I might as well carry on. So I've got everything wired up behind the dash. Instrument clusters in. And what you see down there on the floor is what's left of the original console harness, which I'm waiting for one to show up, hopefully at the end of the month. The thing about that console harness is it connects the neutral switch to the main harness. So without that console harness plugged in, you got nothing. And then those other wires, which you can see up there, are just stuff that's going to come off the radio. I'll feed back through the console. So I think we'll wrap this video up. I don't want them getting too long. And we'll catch you on the next one.